Hello! Welcome to another episode of Dating in the Wild. I'm very excited. With us today is Sid. Hi, Sid.
Hi.
And so she has a Dating in the Wild story to share with us. All right, so Sid, tell us, who is this person and how did you meet them?
So I met my now ex-boyfriend at a concert.
Mm.
And it was fun because I had gotten invited to this concert from a friend of mine that I had known for a while, and he had just moved in with the guy. So he had met our friend on a website for roommates,
Mm.
but I had known my friend from common coworkers, I
Okay,
guess.
yeah.
Like, I guess I knew people that he worked with, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how we became friends.
Yeah. So this was a
And so,
trusted person who invited you
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Okay.
And I was kind of in a weird transitional point in my life. I
Mm-hmm.
had just changed jobs, and I didn't like have a lot of certainty with what I was doing with work.
Mm.
And so my friend who lived with him reached out to me and was like, "Hey, why don't you go out to this concert with us?"
Okay.
And it was a pretty funny concert. Like,
Oh,
it's a metal mariachi band,
interesting. Metal
and they
mariachi.
were, yeah, metalachi is what they're called. And so they're really cool. Like, they do um, like covers of like Kiss or like Guns
Mm.
N' Roses, but they do it in a mariachi style, and
Wow.
then they dress like they're Kiss or like a very showy band.
Oh, okay.
So it's very entertaining, and I highly recommend it to
Okay.
anybody. It was a very fun thing that I
Yeah.
never would have imagined
Interesting.
finding.
Right.
They've been performing together for, I think, about 10 or 15 years.
Wow.
When this happened, it was about 6 or 7 years ago
Mm-hmm.
in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
that's when I got invited to their show, and I was like, "Oh, this is so cool!" I
Yeah.
got very excited about it. I was like, "This is something I never would have imagined that I would have participated in."
Right. Or found on your
And
own.
yeah,
You,
exactly. Like,
right.
how? Like,
Mm.
how could you know about this?
Cool.
And their music was really good.
Yeah.
The guys were very entertaining.
Okay. How large was the crowd, would you say?
It was pretty small. I
Okay.
would say there were maybe like 100, 250 people.
Okay. So then your friend introduced you to his new roommate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was weird because it was like immediately we were very attracted to each other.
Ooh. Ooh.
And there was like no denying it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I can't stop thinking about this person.
Sure. Some instant chemistry.
There was definitely instant chemistry
Yeah.
with this.
How nice.
And it was great. It was like, I still, this was, I think, 6 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I still haven't quite found that yet
Mm.
again.
Interesting.
Him and I have broken up, and we're like best friends and everything now. We
Mm-hmm.
still have a very good relationship,
Yeah.
but there's something that it was its own thing.
Okay. So then at the concert, how did he approach you, or how did he ask you out or ask for your number, or what happened?
So he was really dorky. Like, he'd way about like, "Oh, I don't keep a tab open with a credit card. I only pay cash." And
Mm.
he was very specific about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like trying to buy me a drink, but then I guess because he didn't want to keep a tab open, he wanted to like buy multiple drinks at one time.
Mm.
And so to me, it was strange because it was like he offered to buy me like, "Hey, what are your next two drinks?" And I was sitting there thinking, what the hell?
He's planning
Who goes
ahead.
ahead to because I had to buy me 2 drinks. And
Sure.
so I sit there and kind of laugh at it. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, well, I just don't like to keep a credit card on file. And he has this like paranoia or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I get it. Like
Mm-hmm.
some people mess up your tabs
Mm.
sometimes. Like I guess it just wasn't like a high priority concern for me.
Mm.
So I remember thinking, what the hell? Like,
People
so
have
he
their
tries to buy
quirks.
me 2 drinks, and I'm
Okay.
like, oh no. And something about it was just weird enough that I was like, no, I think I'll just get my own drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I'll just, thank you, but
Yeah.
no. Like, I'll just buy whatever my own drinks are. Because I was like, this seems a little fishy.
Right, right, right. Yes, but then by the end of the night, he had asked you out or gotten your number?
So we went from the venue back to my friend's house. I guess we all took like an Uber or a
Mm-hmm.
Lyft back to their house.
Mm-hmm.
And we're sitting there, and I was waiting for my roommate, who I lived with, to come get me.
Oh,
The
okay.
arrangement was that she was going to come pick me up because I had been drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was sitting there waiting for her to come by, and she was bartending at the time.
Okay.
And I remember we were sitting on this couch, and we're in the house of somebody that I'm friends with, but this guy, Aaron, had just moved in.
Sure. The
And
new,
so
yeah.
he was the new factor, but he was flirting with me, and he has like a long beard,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like playing with his beard, and he was like, oh, my beard smells so good, you should lean in and smell my beard.
Ooh.
And
Wow. It's
I
kind of
fell for it.
a
I fell
smooth
for it. And I
line.
was like, yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll smell your beard. And I was like, oh, it does smell really good. Your beard does smell great.
Mm-hmm.
But he played me big time with that one.
That's cute. A smooth operator.
It was cute, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You should smell my beard. It smells great.
Hmm. So, what was the first date like with him?
So our first date was, I think we went to On the Border
Mm.
because I had a friend that bartended there. And when he was like, hey, I want to go out with you, I want to go, like, have some food or drinks or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
where do you want to go? And I said, oh, well, why don't we go to On the Border? Like, because I always like to go wherever I could make sure people were spending money with my friends.
Mm. Yeah. Support your friends. Sure.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, like, On the Border is not, there's nothing that special about it,
Mm-hmm.
except that my friend worked
Okay. Huh.
there,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
ended up actually, like, years later being my roommate. Like, she ended up living with me later, but
Good.
yeah.
So then, tell us about that first date. What was the chemistry like between the two of you?
It was a little bit more of a planned date than what I did sometimes at that point in time. Like,
Mm.
I bartended, and then I played into like hookup culture some in that time of my life.
Sure.
And I didn't always have like cut and dry dates.
Mm.
And this was a cut and dry date,
Mm.
which I think went great.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of forced us to like talk about things that we wouldn't have naturally done in a setting without that.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a really good thing for both of us.
Cool. And then, like you said, you ended up dating him for a while.
Yeah, years.
Yeah.
We moved from Texas to Alaska together.
Wow.
I was with him for, I think it was like 3.5 or 4 years.
Mm.
And so it was definitely a very serious relationship that that I put a lot of time and effort into.
Yeah.
And although we're not together now, like, he and I are like best friends.
Oh, good.
I think that it's a friendship that I didn't ever expect
Mm.
outside of us having the relationship that we had.
Yeah. Wow. So, I mean, so it was, sounds like it was a amicable, you know, end to
Yeah.
a romantic relationship.
Yeah, the split, I was the instigator,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. Um, but he was not far behind. And the day that we broke up and we talked about everything,
Mm-hmm.
he looked me in the eyes and said, "I'm not good enough for what you want, and I don't want to do you wrong by
Mm.
not being good enough."
Oh.
And so it was a very amicable, put together kind of split. I can't
Yeah.
imagine something going easier.
Right. Wow.
And of course, like me and him both, we've gone through trials of trying to understand our feelings,
Mm-hmm.
but we've both also been very good about having an open door policy of talking about it. So we've both
Yeah.
learned a lot as human beings
It's very
from
important.
where we've been with each other.
Yeah. Very important to have that communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're so much better than we were when we first started dating with that. Because
That's cool.
I was in early to mid 20s when we
Mm-hmm.
started dating.
Mm.
It's like I've grown a lot
So
as he has.
sure, sure. And so it's really kind of thanks to that friend who introduced the two of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's pretty wild because it was like nobody ever expected that to happen
Sure.
and for us to connect so good and so quickly.
Mm. Sometimes surprise, there it is.
Yeah.
When you least expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Sid. It's very interesting to like meet
Of course.
someone, you meet someone through someone you know, but did your friend know his new roommate very well at that point?
No.
Mm.
So when we met, they had met online and they had had two like very brief conversations
Mm.
about what they wanted and what they expected.
Mm-hmm.
And he moved in, and then it was like the second day of him living there, he was like, "Hey, why don't you want to go out to this concert with me and my friend?"
Yeah.
And he invited him,
Ooh.
and it was just like very quick. All
Wow.
of it was very quick.
Interesting. So not even a setup, not even kind of a referral, just happenstance
Yeah,
that, yeah, you guys were
yeah.
all,
No
yeah.
setup, no referral, no
Mm-hmm.
idea. Actually, like I believe almost that my friend probably had a crush on me and wanted to make
Mm.
a move,
Yeah.
but then it ended up being his brand new roommate. like, oh,
That,
oops.
yeah, oops,
Oh,
that can happen sometimes. So
yeah.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story,
So,
Sid. Thank you for joining us on this episode, and we'll see you next time on another Dating in the Wild.